And before the 1968 World's Fair, San Antonio was just another sleepy Texas city. Look at us now. Folks, today we're the 7th largest city in the United States. I don't know if you realize it, but we're bigger than Dallas. Dallas is number 9. San Diego's bigger than Dallas. They're number 8, and we're bigger than both of them, and we're talking population. On the left-hand side, see this brand new sculpture. That was built by, it's called Stargazer, and it was built by Pedro Rejas of Mexico City. And his message that he wanted to convey with this is that for thousands of years, people all over the world look up at the stars at night for comfort and guidance. Look on the right front corner, up high through the trees. You'll see a church steeple, St. Joseph's Catholic Church, built in 1868 by German immigrants. And they built it so that they would have a place they could worship in their native language, German. And to this day, once a month, they still have special services, all in German. Huge German influence in this part of Texas. We got a lot of towns named for them. Fredericksburg, Schaumburg, Schulenburg, New Braunfels, New Berlin, and probably 100 more within a 2-hour drive of San Antonio. Look on the left front corner, up high through the trees, you see a church steeple. Church steeple. How about a hotel? Church steeple we just talked about. See those square, boxy rooms? None of those rooms were built up there like every other hotel. Each one of those rooms were built down here in factories 8 miles away. And each room was made totally out of concrete. There's not a stick of wood in them. So when the rooms were finished at the factory, they hauled them over with a truck, lifted them up with a crane, and they weighed 7,000 pounds each because they were concrete. They raised them up and put them up there one at a time, kind of like Legos. And to this day, this Hilton property still holds the Guinness Book of World's Record, the fastest built large hotel. That 507-room hotel was built in only 202 days. Okay, let's talk about this river. It's called the San Antonio River, and it is a real river. It's been here for thousands of years. There's all kinds of documentation showing that people lived here on the river in the early 1500s. This river is also all natural spring water. It comes bubbling out of the ground, millions of gallons. Only 4 miles upstream from here is where this river starts. And it does go all the way to the Gulf of Mexico. Now, should you fall out of my boat into the river, no fault of mine, of course, but if you did, stop screaming, just stand up and walk out, because it's only 3 feet deep.
Hi, everybody! Hello! Say hi, boy. Thank you.
On the right is another Go Rio ticketing location. We have 3 of these. You've seen 2 of them so far. Okay, straight ahead, a lot of history coming up here on the other side of this bridge. This area is known as La Villita, means little village in Spanish. A lot of shops and restaurants in here now. But in the 1700s, this area was all occupied by armies from Spain because Spain owned Texas. Then in the 1800s, the Mexican armies moved in, including one famous General Santa Anna, who of course is the guy that did in the Alamo. Right here is the location that Santa Anna had his 2,000 men and all of his cannons. And for 13 days and nights from this location, he shot at the Alamo with cannons until it finally fell. Keep in mind, Santa Anna had 2,000 men. There were approximately 200 in the Alamo. Took 13 days. Up next, the Arneson River Theater. Check out this stage on the right-hand side. You may have seen it before. If you remember the movie, Miss Congeniality with Sandra Bullock. Right here on the right's where they filmed all the swimsuit contests. Really good movie. Definitely a chick flick. But I liked it too. Coming up on our right front corner, check out this cattle sculpture. It shows just how hard it was to herd longhorn cattle. They were mean, they were wild, they had huge horns. And in the 1800s, there were an estimated 10 million longhorns running wild in Texas alone. Free for the taking. Nobody owned them. They were called Mavericks. You put your brand on them, they were yours. Sounds easy. It probably wasn't. But in the early years, that's how these ranches got started. Free cattle. Here's the lowest hanging iron bridge on the river. Nobody choose this one to stand up, please. As long as you're sitting down, you're all good on this. The only time I ever had a problem, a guy named Tim Duncan. Y'all remember him, maybe? He played for the Spurs. 7 feet 2 or 3. Even sitting down, he had a problem. On the right-hand side by this big tree is called Marriage Island. Over 300 wedding ceremonies performed right there every year. Why is that such a special place? That's the site of the very first Catholic Mass in South Texas, and that was June 13, 1691. So you can tell this river has been here a long, long time. These trees along here are called cypress, and they can live over 2,000 years. Now, my favorite building on all these tours is on the left-hand side, up very high. And kids, you'll like this too, but you got to look all the way to the very top to see what I want to show you. This was built by two superstitious brothers who put gargoyle monsters on the very top. See the monsters, kids? Very top, all the way around it. And they have 6-inch long teeth. Then they also put scary faces on the sides of the building. Look here on the left, not very high, about 25 feet up, just above these little trees. Scary faces. All of this was supposed to scare away evil spirits and bad business. Today it's called the Tower of Life Insurance Building, and it's also known for something else. Who are you going to call? Ghostbusters! Yes, thank you, that one person. And I tell you, the original Ghostbusters, there were a number of scenes filmed inside that building. If you remember, in the movie, the spooky things had already disabled all the elevators, so they had to go up the stairs. Well, those were the stairs that showed in the movie. They're dragging all their equipment up and down. Most of the movie was filmed in New York City, but we got a piece of it, so did Chicago. Straight ahead of us shows the river. This bridge shows we're getting ready to leave the Riverwalk. This is the main river channel coming up ahead. And it does go all the way to the Gulf of Mexico. Now, I'm supposed to turn right up here, but I'm thinking about doing something different tonight. Make a left-hand turn, go 172 miles. Tonight, just past Corpus Christi. Enter the Gulf of Mexico. Make a right-hand turn. Next stop, Cancun. But we're going to need a lot more alcohol, batteries, sunscreen, and I got to hog my horn right here. Actually, y'all wouldn't have liked me at all if I had turned left. Look down that way, you'll see a warning light. Right where that warning light is a 25-foot drop-off waterfall, the first of 5. Probably not a good idea. That wouldn't even fit that category of, here, hold my beer, watch this. Okay, look on this top of this bridge. See all those padlocks? There are thousands of padlocks on this bridge, both sides. You can see them from the other side, too. This is called love locks. This is where lovers will get a padlock. Put their names on it. Fasten the lock to the fence and throw the key in the river. That way no one could ever find their key and unlock their love. Actually, it's a pretty cool place. I got 3 locks up there myself. Only kidding. Figure's only 2. I did wonder though why some people put combination locks up there. What's that about? In case they change their mind? Okay, coming up on the left is the most solemn part of the whole river. You're going to see some stair steps leading up to the oldest church in Texas, the San Fernando Cathedral. It's also the burial site for all of the defenders of the Alamo, including Davy Crockett, Jim Bowie, and 187 others are buried up these stairs. Then back to the left, you'll see a church with twin towers. Are y'all aware they're all buried in one casket? Seriously, true story. How that happened? Santa Anna. Remember that guy? He was so angry that it took 13 days to take the Alamo because he had promised his superiors in Mexico City if they would give him 2,000 men, he promised he would take the Alamo in 1 day. 13 days later, he was angry. He ordered all the bodies burned. So what's in the casket are bone fragments and ashes. But through DNA testing, they've identified everybody except for 17 people. Straight ahead, oldest tree on the river. It's a bald cypress, and they tell me it's just a little bit over 600 years old. It's also known as the sniper tree, because Mexican snipers would crawl all the way to the top of it to get better shots at the Texans. Anybody like rum on this boat? If you do, pay attention here. Coming up on the right-hand side, just past this bridge, you'll find a tiki bar. Folks, they have over 200 different kinds of rum right here on the right. I didn't even know they made that many kinds. On the right-hand side, at the end of these construction gates, you'll find the Esquire Tavern. Oldest bar on the river. It also boasts the longest wooden bar in the state of Texas. It's 108 feet long of beer-soaked oak. Okay, coming up straight ahead of us on the other side of this boat. See that bridge across the river? It's named for Selena. Selena Perez, who's the Tejano music mega superstar who died tragically young. I think Selena was only 23 when she was murdered in Corpus Christi. Her husband proposed to her on this very bridge coming up. Then in 1997, Jennifer Lopez played Selena in the movie. The movie had actually launched her movie career to stardom. And this bridge is in the movie. No doubt about it, this is the most famous bridge on the river. And I see 2 or 3 times a week, minimum, somebody's on their knees there, they're proposing. Another one bites the dust. Okay, this building on the left-hand side is now an Omni Hotel. But in 1853, this building on the left was a Catholic all-boys school. Later on became Central Catholic High School. After that, St. Mary's School of Law, before finally becoming a luxury hotel, right before the 1968 World's Fair. We've talked some about it. Look on the left front corner, up very high, almost straight up, you'll see the Nix Hospital building. Built in 1930. At that time, the Nix Hospital was the only hospital in the United States that had air conditioning. We do like our AC here in San Antonio a lot. I'm going to show you an optical illusion about the Nix Hospital. As soon as we cleared this bridge, look up high to the left. But now, it's not going to look like a building. Now it looks like a wall. Look all the way to the top.
Building. Lagi kumain. Flat. Building.
Well, I tell you what, this rain today made a big difference on the temperature. It's been big. At 9 o'clock, still 101. And I think it was 79 today at 6 o'clock. Yeehaw. Are y'all aware the Alamo is not even its real name? It's Mission Bolero. Then why do they call it the Alamo? Because in the early 1700s, missionaries from Spain were here, and they built it in the shade of the only big cottonwood trees on the river. So the locals started referring to it as El Alamo, because Alamo in Spanish means cottonwood tree. And now you know the rest of the story, just like Paul Harvey, if anybody remembers him. I'm not supposed to endorse any business here, but this is a great jazz bar if you like jazz. All the bands are from New Orleans. On the right-hand side is the Casino Club building. Built in 1927 by German immigrants. And they built it so they would have a casino with its own private social club. Now, folks, the social club back then means something a whole lot different than it means today, if you know what I mean. There's a whole lot of socializing went on in that club. Up next, this area is known as Restaurant Row. You can get some good food through here, especially if you like good Mexican food, or good Mexican food, or good Mexican food. Or good, well, you get the idea. We got a whole lot of it, but we got all kinds of food too here. In fact, right here on the right is Boudreaux's Steak and Seafood. Folks, Boudreaux's is rated in the top 50 best restaurants in the entire United States. On the right here is another personal favorite of mine, the Republic of Texas. Second oldest restaurant on the river. Very kid-friendly. Great food. In fact, I challenge you, if you like fajitas, I don't care if it's shrimp, chicken, or beef. It'd be pretty hard to beat there. They also do a really good job on chicken fried steaks. You can tell I eat there a lot. This is Casa Rio Restaurant, oldest restaurant on the river. Built in 1946, and back then, they even had dining on gondola boats, just like in Venice, Italy. And they had gondoliers on board, pulling them around, and while they would eat, he would sing to them. Maybe something like, "Oh, mi solo Maria! Maria!
Maria!
Maria!" No, Maria. Well, at least nobody threw anything at me this trip. I kid you not, a couple of nights ago, somebody threw a rolled up flour tortilla at me. I thought that was pretty rude. But you know what? I was hungry. I caught it, I ate it, and I thanked them. And that, folks, is a true story. Okay, we're turning over the main river. Now back to the only man-made section. And they built this section for the 1968 World's Fair. They wanted a way to get people from all of the river hotels out here to the fairgrounds by boat. On the left-hand side is the Chamber of Commerce building. The most boring building on the river. Nobody gives two hoots about that building, but I'm required to mention it. Okay, boys, take a break. Ladies and girls, look on the left-hand front corner. See this painting of butterfly wings? This is the most popular self-photo place on the river. You know how it works. You stand up there, you put your hands behind your back. That's the first thing. And then they take a photo. Well, what makes this one different? And I have no idea how this comes about. But if they take a picture of it with an iPhone or something similar, it will come out looking in 3D. And I do not understand how that happens. But it makes for a really cool photo. Okay, look up on the right-hand side, up high over the rock wall. You see the Tower of the Americas. Also built for the World's Fair, 750 feet tall, has a revolving restaurant at the top, the Chart House. Well, folks, we're about to wind this up. We're going to be right back where we started. I'm going to put my tip jar out, in case you didn't hear it. Should you like to participate in the tips, they're very, very much appreciated. And you may notice, of course, I take cash, but if you're into Venmo or Cash App, I have a QR code for both. Now, the only way I know to say goodbye to y'all is to sing you the goodbye song. But you have to sing the goodbye song with me. And I know what you're thinking. I never heard of your stupid song. Yes, you have, I promise you. It's famous. It was even part of a Chevrolet truck commercial. So let them know we're coming in, just like the military, loud and hot. Here we go. Join me. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. Hey, hey, hey. Goodbye. One more time. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. Hey, hey, hey. Goodbye. Folks, thanks so much for riding with me. I hope y'all did have a good time. Come back to see us.